Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take the sources you gather, pull out the key insights, and give you that comprehensive understanding, minus the noise.
Yeah, cutting through it all.
Exactly. And today, we're diving into, well, a really poignant and complex story. It starts with something truly shocking. August 5th, 2022.
I remember the headlines. A blue Mini Cooper, Los Angeles.
Right, crashing into a house, this huge fire, and at the center of it, the actress Heche.
And Anne Heche, she was so vibrant in films like Donnie Brasco, 6 Days, 7 Nights, hugely successful.
Absolutely. But the sources you shared also highlight a life marked by very public struggles.
Yeah, it's this real mix of immense talent and just profound challenges, often playing out right in front of us.
And that's really why we're doing this today. We want to go beyond those first headlines, the sofa stuff. We'll unpack what happened that day, but also explore the life that led up to it, and maybe think about the bigger questions her story raises.
Using the articles, the transcripts, trying to connect the facts to the human side of it all.
Exactly. So this isn't just retelling the events. It's a chance for you, listening, to get a real, thorough, but concise picture of a life that was, well, as celebrated as it was complex.
So where do we start to really get it?
I think we have to go back to her beginnings. Anne was born May 25th, 1969 in Ohio, and her childhood sounds like it was anything but easy.
Right, marked by money struggles, a really turbulent home life. Her father was a Baptist choir director, but he also led this secret, closeted life.
And tragically, he died from AIDS-related complications when Anne was only 12. That's incredibly young to face something like that. How did that shape her? Did she talk about it?
She did. She reflected on it later, saying his hidden life really destroyed his happiness and impacted the family deeply. But she learned something powerful from it.
What was that?
The, quote, profound importance of honesty. She felt like living your truth was just the most valuable thing. It became a theme for her.
Wow. To pull that lesson from such pain. And she felt this huge weight of responsibility very early on, didn't she?
Yeah, at 12, working at a burger stand on a boardwalk, singing to draw people in, feeling she had to provide for her family.
Imagine that pressure at 12. That drive to just survive.
It seems like that drive, that passion really fueled her. She jumped into acting, starting super small, a dinner theater in New Jersey, like $100 a week.
Just chasing the dream. That determination led the family to Chicago, right?
And that's where she got noticed. A talent scout saw her in a high school play.
And that was the break.
Kind of the launching pad. It led her to New York, and then that breakthrough role on Another World.
Oh, yeah, the soap opera. She played twins.
Yep, Marley and Vicky Hudson. Apparently very different characters, and she won a Daytime Emmy for it in '91. That was big.
Definitely. And then the move to movies wasn't far behind.
Pretty quick, yeah. Her first film was in '93, An Ambush of Ghosts. But 1997, that was the year everything just exploded for her.
Right, that's when she hit the A-list. Critically acclaimed roles, big movies.
Exactly. You had Donnie Brasco. She played Johnny Depp's wife, dealing with his whole undercover thing.
Such a great film. And then Volcano, big action movie with Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, and Wag the Dog. That political satire with Dustin Hoffman and Robert De Niro. Just boom, boom, boom. Her star was definitely rising.
Okay, so career-wise, she's hitting this incredible peak in 1997. But that same year, her personal life takes a very public turn.
A massive turn. Her relationship with Ellen DeGeneres hit the headlines. They were dubbed, the world's first gay super couple. Huge visibility.
Unprecedented for Hollywood at the time.
Yeah.
But the impact on her career, it was devastating, wasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Anne herself said, quite bluntly, I was fired from my multi-million-dollar picture deal, and I did not work in a studio picture for 10 years.
10 years. Just for being open about who she loved. That's staggering,
Yeah.
especially considering the homophobia, the biphobia back then.
It really was. But she showed incredible resilience. I mean, despite that massive backlash, she still starred opposite Harrison Ford in 6 Days, 7 Nights.
Right. That romantic adventure film. She played this ambitious editor.
Yeah, so she didn't just disappear. She stood her ground, stood in her truth, even though it clearly cost her professionally. It says a lot.
It really does. But then, after the relationship with Ellen ended in 2000, things got incredibly tough for her again.
Yeah, that period led to that very public incident near Fresno, the one where she left her car, walked miles in the heat.
Right. Ended up at a stranger's house, seemed disoriented, talking about being Celestia and spaceships. It sounded like a complete break from reality.
She later called it a psychotic break, that moment of just losing touch. And what's crucial here, I think, is how open she became about her struggles after that.
In her memoir, Call Me Crazy from 2001.
Exactly. She spoke with just remarkable honesty about her mental health battles, the childhood abuse she said she endured.
That really provides context, doesn't it?
Yeah.
She linked her substance use directly to trying to cope with trauma. She
Hmm.
said, I drank, I smoked, I did drugs, I did anything I could to get the shame out of my life.
And she talked about feeling she might be schizophrenic, hearing voices, talking to God, called herself a perfect hider, always pretending everything was okay.
It makes you realize how much can be going on beneath the surface, even with someone so famous.
Absolutely. That vulnerability is key to understanding her whole journey, I think. And despite all this internal turmoil, her career did continue.
She had her own TV show, Men in Trees, starting in 2006.
Right, playing a relationship expert, ironically enough. But then just a year later, her own marriage ended, and there was another very public, messy custody battle.
So this pattern continued professional life moving forward, but these deep personal challenges running alongside it.
Always interwoven, it seems.
Which brings us, tragically, to August 5th, 2022. The day started. Well, it seemed ordinary.
Yeah, the sources mentioned her visiting a hair salon in Venice, glass hair design, buying a bright red wig. She seemed cheerful, took a selfie.
That selfie. It's chilling now, because just hours later, everything changed. She's in her blue Mini Cooper.
And she's involved in not one, but two crashes before the final one.
Right. First, hitting a garage in an apartment complex in Mar Vista. There's that TMZ video.
Yeah, where you see her reverse, speed off, almost hit someone. The guy's yelling, "Get out of the car, it's chaotic."
And then just moments later, she hits a Jaguar. But keeps going.
Thankfully, the person in the Jaguar wasn't hurt, but her driving was clearly erratic, distressed. Something was terribly wrong.
And then, the final impact. Around 10:56 a.m., the Mini Cooper just hurtled into a house.
Crashed right through the wall, apparently went 30 feet inside the building.
And the car immediately bursts into flames.
Yeah.
Ignites the whole house.
Just devastating. And the tenant, Lynn Michelle, was home. She was in the back with her pets and just barely escaped. Lost everything.
Everything. It's unimaginable. The rescue effort sounds incredibly intense.
59 firefighters. Took them 65 minutes to put out that blaze. It was raging.
And they didn't even know someone was in the car at first?
No, the smoke and flames were too intense. The deputy chief said it was incredibly hard to see inside. The radio chatter paints a picture of just chaos.
Shouts of fire, confusion, then someone asking, do you have a patient in the car?
And a few minutes later, confirmation. We have identified one patient, inaccessible at this time. Just awful.
They needed a heavy-duty tow truck just to pull the car out with Anne still inside.
Right. And finally, 45 minutes after the crash, they get her out. And the images, they're hard to forget.
She was conscious, briefly.
Yeah, conscious but fading. You see her on the stretcher. She even seems to struggle for a moment, tries to sit up, then loses consciousness. Just gut-wrenching.
And her injuries, they were catastrophic.
Severe burns, smoke inhalation damage to her lungs, a fractured sternum, and that critical injury, an anoxic brain injury.
Lack of oxygen to the brain. Devastating. Yeah, irreversible damage. She was rushed to the hospital, eventually transferred to the Grossman Burn Center, intubated, put in a coma.
The prognosis quickly became grim. By August 11th, her team said she wasn't expected to survive.
And then, August 12th, she was declared legally dead, brain dead under California law.
But she remained on life support for a couple more days. Yes, and this is important. It was her expressed wish to be an organ donor. So she stayed on support to preserve her organs while they found recipients. A final act of giving.
It's incredibly moving. They found recipients on August 14th.
Yes. There was an honor walk by hospital staff, a tribute as she was taken to surgery. Then she was peacefully taken off life support.
The official cause of death?
Inhalation and thermal injuries, with the sternal fracture from the crash listed as a significant contributing factor, ruled an accident.
Okay, now let's talk about something crucial, something that really shifted the narrative later on. The toxicology reports.
Right, because initially the police suspected impairment. Early reports mentioned cocaine, other substances found in preliminary tests. The narrative formed quickly.
But the final, definitive report from the medical examiner in December 2022, that told a different story.
A very different story. It definitively stated that substances were not a factor causing impairment at the time of the crash. This is key.
Not a factor, so what did they actually find?
Okay, so her blood, drawn at the hospital, showed an inactive cocaine metabolite. Basically, evidence of past use, but not active impairment then.
Like a leftover signature, not the drug doing anything.
Exactly. Her urine had traces of cannabinoids and benzodiazepines, but crucially not in her blood. And there was fentanyl, but at levels consistent with hospital treatment after the crash.
So, bottom line, the toxicology confirmed she was not impaired by drugs or alcohol when the crashes happened.
Correct. It fundamentally changed things, or it should have. It showed the initial rush to judgment was based on incomplete preliminary information.
Which happens so often, doesn't it? Especially when mental health or substance use might be involved. The reaction was immediate and intense.
Oh, yeah. Firestorm. People were angry, criticizing her for the recklessness, the destruction of Lynn Michelle's life and home. Understandably.
And then others, like Alec Baldwin, got backlash for calling for support for Anne without maybe immediately acknowledging the victim. He was divisive.
And that initial incorrect assumption about drugs just fueled the tabloid frenzy, reducing her life to this simple, tragic, cautionary tale.
When the reality, especially knowing her history, her openness about abuse, mental illness, addiction, it's so much more complex.
It really forces us to ask, why do we sometimes vilify people who are clearly struggling instead of trying to find some compassion or understanding?
Of course, the impact on Lynn Michelle was devastating and undeniable. She lost everything. The lawsuit against Anne's estate highlights that tangible loss.
The irreplaceable things, the sense of security, just gone in an instant. It's heartbreaking on all sides.
So beyond this tragic end, what is Anne Heche's legacy? How should we remember her?
Well, she was undeniably a trailblazer in many ways. That talent, that wit and charm she brought to her roles, from daytime TV to blockbusters.
And an advocate, right? Standing up for herself, for acceptance, despite the homophobia and biphobia she faced head on. And a mother.
Yes, a mother to her two sons, Homer and Atlas. And she was an artist and activist, too. Writing, directing. That film Girl in Room 13 about human trafficking came out after her death.
Showing she wanted to use her platform for issues that mattered to her.
Right. There's a quote from her second memoir, Call Me Anne, released after she died. She wrote, "I believe in life everlasting. I choose to live to the fullest of my potential. Seek the wisdom that it offers. That is the truth of me." It's quite powerful.
It is. Her family called her a bright light, and that final act, the organ donation, it quietly saved lives.
A testament to her spirit, even in death.
So we've gone pretty deep today into Anne Heche's life and death. It's incredibly complex. Her career, her courage, her very real struggles, and the tragic way it ended.
And seeing how crucial facts like the final toxicology really challenge those first impressions, those easy narratives.
It's a stark reminder, isn't it, of life's fragility, the complexity of people. It makes you think about what we can learn from her story as individuals, as a society.
Absolutely, how we react to public figures going through immense private pain.
So here's something to leave you with. Anne Heche's story really challenges us to look past the headlines, past the quick judgments, to see the whole person, the struggles, the resilience, the humanity. How might really trying to understand someone's battles change our empathy, change how we react when things go tragically wrong in public?